If you want to place well and get your first earnings, or place and earn more consistently, this is the video for you. Starting off with your colorblind mode. You won't hear most people talk about this, but this is very important. Having the right colorblind mode will make it easy for you to see enemy players and heals in Storm, increasing your chances of winning. Now this next tip is very important, and it's picking and sticking to a drop spot no matter what. Finding a good drop spot, whether it's in solos or duos, can be a huge factor in how well you perform. A perfect example of this is Peter and Pollo, which is why you should be practicing mastering your drop. Non-pro players underestimate how important being able to land first is. Being able to land first gives you obvious advantages like being able to damage players still gliding, and more importantly, cutting off loot paths. If you and your teammates want to increase your chances of winning and getting earnings, cutting off enemy players from potentially good loot will make your job a whole lot easier. If you stop other players from getting important things they'll need in late game like movement items and heals, they will more than likely be an easy elimination point for you later on. I'll leave a loot map in the description of this video so you can find a good drop spot and see where loot spawns are so you can stop players from getting to it. This will also help you loot more effectively. You need to learn the fastest way to clear a location, and that not everything needs to be looted. What's the point of looking for a gold shotgun when you already have a purple one? You're just wasting time. But when you are contested, you need to end fights as fast as possible. Dragging out off spawn fights makes you waste resources like heals and ammo, and it also makes you likely to get third party by other players from different POIs. I'm not saying you should 100% fight off spawn, especially if you're at a disadvantage, but you should decide fast whether you're going to leave quickly or end the fight quickly. When it comes to your loadout, I highly recommend carrying floppers. I don't know why, but people haven't been utilizing fish like they used to. One may not get you to 100 white health the same way one med kit will, but it's a whole lot faster, especially when it comes to out healing storm sickness. If you don't know what storm sickness is, it's a relatively new mechanic Fortnite added to stop players from constantly healing and staying in storm all game. After 500 storm damage, you will get a warning, and after 600 damage, you will start taking 30 damage per second. You should also consider the best options for shield when playing competitively. I see so many players making a mistake of prioritizing minis when you should really be carrying things like big pots. My rule of thumb is carry the item that can get you back to 100 shield the easiest. Knowing when to W key can make or break your chances at getting earnings and placing well. When landing, you should really scan the area to see how many players are close to you so you'll know what fights are worth taking. You should also try to only take fights that you have the advantage in. So if there's an opportunity to third party, take it. You need to prioritize farming metal early. Of course you still need wood and brick, but metal takes the longest to farm, plus there's not a lot of POIs with large amounts of metal in it. If you don't have modded weapons and a bunker isn't close to you, you can always use the mod station on the island. So many players don't take advantage of this and only use the island for rifts or launch pads to rotate, when extra attachments like a drum mag can be very useful. If you have good loot by mid game, you need to prioritize getting a good spot, either center zone or dead side. It's best to box up near something you can refarm or find a building that you can camp in. Once you make it to the later zones, you want to make sure you're not one of the last players moving, because you will 100% get sprayed by everybody looking back at you. Fortnite is all about timing, so there is no surefire way to rotate every time, but being early and using other players as bait will usually work. You don't have to shoot at everyone. So many players take shots for no reason. If someone is ahead of you in a rotation, shooting them will only let them know your location, which in turn will make it easier for them to hold you in storm, and that can likely be the end of your game. If you learned anything in this video, leave a like for a part 2.